Welcome back, everyone. I haven't really done a Windows comparison in a long period of time. I did the Windows 10 versus Windows 11, and I think with the Windows 10 Lite version as well, something like that. And I've had a lot of questions on my second channel and on my main channel, specifically about the differences between Windows 11 Pro and Windows 11 Home. So let's go and talk about the differences. I made a full breakdown of exactly how to use Windows 11 several months ago, and a lot of people are still watching that, meaning there's still a lot of, people wondering what the, beginning differences are for Windows 11. And what I will definitely tell you is the difference between Windows 11 Pro and Windows 11 Home to a, basic user like myself. I'm not a super heavy user of any of the crazy big offerings that, Windows has to offer, to be honest. I use a lot of different software products. I use, like Audacity and I use Google Chrome, different things. I'm not a heavy user by any means. So if you're kind of in the same boat, then Windows 11 Home is going to be perfectly fine. But I do think if you're more on the business side of things, if you're on the business management side of things, and you utilize a lot of different products within the Windows ecosystem, then it may make sense to go up to Windows 11 Pro. So that is the first thing I want to get out of the bat. But there are a lot of similarities between both of these softwares as well. For the core functionality, they're almost exactly the same. So that is probably one of the bigger things to keep in mind. Now, from their website, they basically mention features available in both editions. They both support Microsoft Edge, which should be, kind of obvious. Microsoft Store, Snap layouts, desktops, Microsoft Teams, touch pen voice experience, widgets, and gaming. So if you're pretty much expecting to have any different experience, especially in that gaming side, I think a lot of people probably look at it and expect a way bigger, graphical improvement, but that's really going to be dependent on the hardware that you have. Now, Windows 11 Home versus Pro in terms of a security standpoint, there's also a lot of similarity. The only advantages that Windows 11 Pro has over Windows Home in terms of a security standpoint is that you have BitLocker device encryption and you also have Windows Information Protection WIP. So are those two reasons to go ahead and actually update to Windows 11 Pro? In my opinion, not quite. BitLocker essentially will go ahead and, BitLocker will, if your device is lost or stolen, BitLocker can go ahead and put everything on lockdown, so no one else can pretty much access your systems or data. So if you're somebody who's requiring and using a lot of different, like I said, like business stuff, or you have a lot of secure documents, that may make a little bit more sense. So from a security standpoint, Windows 11 Pro should be a little bit better, but still Windows 11 Home is still, more than enough capable in my opinion. But on the business management and deployment side, this is the one area where, Microsoft really focuses in on of why Pro is specifically probably more tailored to those type of users. So essentially you can have things like assigned access, dynamic provisioning, group policy, kiosk mode setup. So if you're somebody who wants to go ahead and have your laptop as some sort of, in kiosk mode essentially, well, you can go ahead and do that on Windows 11 Pro. Microsoft Store for Business, mobile device management, support for Active Directory, support for Azure Active Directory, and Windows Update for Business. So essentially, like I mentioned before, the Pro side, really just a bunch of business things that I don't really think a lot of, people probably end up using if you're not a business person. So for someone like me, I'm not a business person. I pretty much just run a bunch of different emulators on my, PC. I play a bunch of games. I very rarely do any video editing, but I do some audio editing on my PC every once in a while. And typically when I go down that direction, I'm not really utilizing everything my PC has to offer. The only time I even go down that direction a little bit is when I am gaming. When I'm playing, Simu or anything like that, those type of games end up taking up, those type of games, or when I run those games on those type of softwares, they end up taking a bunch of resources from my machine. And I don't think whether I'm on Windows 11 Home or Windows 11 Pro, I don't think there's going to be really any difference in those specific versions of the speed that I'm getting. So again, that's kind of the first thing to kind of keep in mind, is that when you're kind of looking at it in that standpoint, those are pretty much the main things to kind of keep in mind at that point. The price differences, you're paying, $140 for Windows 11 Home, where you're paying about $200 for Windows 11 Pro. I think there can be some deals here and there sometimes, but most of the time Windows 11 Home, you can get installed for free without having to go up to that Pro model. And I will say, if you're anybody like me, you are probably going to be perfectly fine with Windows 11 Home. But if you're running some sort of business, you have employees, if you're managing a lot of different secure documents and everything down that road, then the Pro option definitely makes a lot more sense. But if you're a casual user, or if you need the most amount of resources possible, but you're an individual person, you probably don't need Windows 11 Pro. So that's kind of how I would kind of break it down for the most part. I think there's pros and cons for both, but I think for the most part, Windows 11 Home is more than enough capable, in my opinion, for probably every single person watching this video. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.